Joining us now is YouTuber and stand-up comedian Dave Neal, who's been covering the case over the last 6 weeks. Dave, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I just want to... There's a quote here from a Stanford law professor who says, allowing this trial to be televised is the single worst decision I can think of in the context of intimate partner violence and sexual violence in recent history. And there are so many law schools around the US saying this as well, that people aren't going to come forward. So what do you think the role of social media played in this case, Dave?
Oh, well, thanks for having me. I think that we need to see this play out, and we needed to see the court system do its job. I don't think any victims should worry that they won't be believed. I think everybody believed Amber Heard for several years. And then after several years of believing her, the truth came out and there wasn't enough evidence to support any of her claims, and she lost.
But that's rubbish, Dave. To be honest with you, do we really need to know exactly what the ins and outs of it? I mean, it's a nasty divorce between two people who unfortunately have broken up and who've gone through a really difficult time, and to have it played out across social media, you know, it was only for the benefit of people like yourself setting up YouTubes, or people, you know, wanting to watch on.
Are we worried about the jury? They obviously saw things. They weren't sequestered. Like, are we worried about the effect that social media had on the jury, Dave?
Well, the jury's anonymous, so I don't know who they are. But I would say if we're all going to enter the gladiator match and watch it, that's on us. But for Johnny Depp to get his truth out there, he needed to have it aired out, and he asked for it, and that's why they went ahead with it.
I mean, Amber Heard has said in her statement after that it was a setback. What's your views on her statement after the ruling?
Well, you know, on my channel, we take phone calls from people, and we scour all of Twitter and hear what people have to say. And everyone that I've spoken to anecdotally says this is not a setback for survivors and victims. This is a chance for people to understand what the process is if they do have a story to tell. It's not about not believing people. It's about this specific instance where the truth, none of it added up.
Are we a little bit worried, Dave, because we're not experts, and, you know, to understand the law, we live in Ireland, our law is different to what your law is in the US, and everyone became an expert. And when it comes to social media, everyone was an epidemiologist. You know, we're all experts on COVID, we're all experts on the war in Ukraine, we're all military experts now, and everyone became an expert in US defamation law during all of this, whereas the experts were the ones saying, this is a bad idea to televise this. And now there are rumours that Marilyn Manson might try to bring a case against his ex, Evan Rachel Wood, for statements that she has made before Congress. Could this be a rolling stone?
Well, I can't really speculate on what this would do for other cases, but Johnny Depp, rightfully felt that he was not able to tell his story and not believed, and he went out there and tried it, and he won. And I think everyone was surprised. I didn't expect him to win. I don't think most people did. It's very tough to win a defamation case. All she had to do was provide any sort of evidence, and there was a whole stack of people that came out, with evidence that kind of disputed what she was saying. I think people wanted her to win for several years. The ACLU teamed up with her to release her story 3 days before Aquaman. I mean, you really get to see the sinister side of how Hollywood works, and it's all about box office sales and things like that. You just get to see that all play out. And now Hollywood's not going to hire her because they're going to decide that she's not worth their bottom dollar. So that's all it comes down to.
Do you believe that her Hollywood career is over now and Johnny Depp's is resurrected then?
He can get any movie financed he wants. He can do art house films and small budget things. Will he work for a major corporation at Disney? That's yet to be seen. But I think his career is perfectly fine. And Amber, I mean, her she didn't have the decades worth of work to back up her being hired over any other actor. There's, tens of thousands of them out here with us. So I think she'll have a harder time recovering.
Yeah, YouTuber Dave Neal, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I think you're definitely right in relation to Amber. She doesn't have the... She wasn't a big movie star.
I didn't follow it at all. I just find how one court ruling in the UK, she won, he won. I actually don't understand it, to be honest. But I just, whenever the announcement was made last night, it was actually sad watching her...
and he was out in the lash with Sam Fender, wasn't he, in Newcastle?
Yeah, I think when it comes to divorce, it's always going to be nasty. Yeah. And to have it televised and...
To millions of people.
To millions of people. And, of course, across social media. But that's the world that we live in now.